One of the fascinating things about this job is that I get to meet some really interesting people who have done some tremendous things innovatively with some strange products. And so today I'm going to talk about screws. So can I introduce Alex Gutteridge, who's the Managing Director of Innovate Ortho, based here at the 3M Vic Centre. And we're going to talk about this little device, aren't we?
Yeah, of course.
Would you like to explain to us exactly what it is and what it does?
Yeah,
and what's
sure.
different about it?
So this screw basically goes into people's knees to fix primarily cruciate ligaments. So when you see a footballer on the television fall over and roll around in agony and they're holding their knee, they've often hurt or torn a ligament.
Yep.
And we work directly with the surgeons to help fix those ligaments back to get that footballer, whether it be Premiership or Sunday morning pub team, back onto the pitch so they can continue having a healthy lifestyle. And we redesigned these screws to make them easier for the surgeon to use, more cost effective for the buyer, whether that's the NHS or the private hospitals, and to make them in the UK.
Yeah. So what is different about this?
So it's all to do with the tip. So we worked closely with a group in Sheffield that we were introduced to, called the AMRC, and they helped us redesign the lead-in thread so that when as a surgeon, you're putting that into somebody's bone, it goes in really easily. You've got a number of complex things going on with the interaction of the bone and the soft tissue. Now, you don't want to damage the soft tissue, but you need to have enough fixation to grip into the bone. So the design of that first lead-in thread is critical because it has to be aggressive enough, let's say, to go in, but not sharp enough to damage the graft that you're trying to replace. Yeah. So by working with the team at the Advanced Manufacturing and Research Centre in Sheffield, the surgeons that we know that work with the athletes, and applying our own knowledge, we came up with this new design that allows the surgeon to put the screw in, I won't say effortlessly, no. But we did some basic research with Imperial College down in London on putting these in against a force plate, blinded a group of surgeons to insert the screws, and we reduced the force that they needed to use to put them in by about half.
Brilliant.
And they noticed that, so when they're blinded, we could say which screw was this, which screw was that, and 99% of the time they knew which screw felt easier to put in. And then we did all the scientific stuff behind that and published it and shared that with the societies and things.
So what inspired you to sort of realise there was a problem, seek a solution, and then build a business around it?
Well, so we actually we didn't have the screw in mind. We didn't build a business around the screw. We decided to build a business around solving a problem.
Yeah.
And my business partner and wife, Hannah, and I are both from a medical industry background, and we both knew the market well. We know the clinicians well, and we found that there were some frustrations with the clinicians working with huge global corporates, not getting their voices heard. So we thought, well, we could give them a voice. We just need to find the right problem to solve with the right people. We know there's a great infrastructure, especially here around Huddersfield, Leeds, Sheffield, for medical device manufacturing. Engineering is a mainstay up here. We know we knew the market well, and medical devices in the north is a growing business. So we thought we could work with the surgeons to define the problem, and that was one of the first really fun bits when we started the business, was to get huge sheet of blank sheet of paper and really deep dive into one operation with each surgeon and say, right, what are the problems that you face? And actually we found that there were numerous points of frustration along the way of doing the surgery. That surgeons are perfectionists and they always want to make things better, so they're calling out things that they want to make better that they can't. But somewhere in there was the point that their screw didn't start very well. So we said, well, actually, if we apply the commercial piece to that, we could say there's an awful lot of screws go in. They should be relatively cheap to manufacture. We could get it, it's a global problem if we validate it and make sure that everybody else is experiencing the problem, and then we think we can solve it. So that's the way we went about it, and we created the business, then found the problem, and we're still now looking for problems. So every conversation I have with a surgeon is invariably about a frustration or a problem that they have, and can we solve it? And we have to be able to say no, we can't.
Yeah. We've
got to know our limitations. And we've said no to quite a lot of problems because we aren't a big corporate, we're a small startup. And that's it, that's our story really.
Yeah. For me, there are sort of 3 key stages to innovation. There's sort of coming up with an idea, being able to find a practical application for it, but then being able to get it into the mass market.
Yeah.
Which has been the most difficult stage, having the idea or getting it into the mass market.
Ideas have never been a problem. And I think they come through connections and conversations and interactions and relationships. But by far, I hesitate to call it a problem because I hate problems, but the toughest bit has been getting it into market, regulating it. You know, we work in a serious industry that's highly regulated, rightly so, and we set a benchmark. The calibre of the people that we work with are at the top of their game, so we've got to be at the top of ours. So putting that product legally, responsibly into the market, we have to make sure that we don't just tick all the boxes. So from a regulatory perspective, everyone will have heard of CE marks. Going through the CE mark process for that product was tough and is tough. And the good thing is it's an ongoing process, but it lets me and my business partner and anyone in the business and people that we work with, the surgeons, sleep at night because they know on the back of that packet is a CE mark that says it's of a standard that's assessed and continually assessed and developed. And that was the toughest bit, really.
So how has being here at the centre been of benefit to you, and how's that helped the business grow?
Well, part of that piece of being responsible, we have to have a base, right? We can't be
a garden shed
starter, although we did discuss that at one point. It would have been cheaper, but having a base has been great because it's a lonely place being a startup, actually. Even in a husband and wife team, it's lonely. But coming in here and creating a relationship with all the guys, be it the team on the front desk or the team in the office doing the events like Innovation Week, and getting to know the other businesses, you know, it actually makes you feel part of a community rather than just going in, sitting down, getting on with your paperwork and then coming away from it at the end of the day. So that's been one big benefit. The other piece, as I alluded to earlier, is being able to try things out and then know whether you're going to take them further or not. And one of the unique things here, I believe is unique, it's been unique for us, is the 3D printing capabilities. And we work in a world of metal, basically, as the end product. So having the ability, some of these devices here we've got, to take something through prototype in plastic to 3D print in metal to actually let surgeons get hands on, tell us whether it's what they wanted, what they thought it was or not, gives us the ability to take away risk and make that decision. Is this something we want to keep and take through to a commercial product, or is it something we want to cut and say, do you know what, there isn't the market there, or it's not quite right, we can't manufacture it easily enough. And that for me is the big value here. And you know, you don't have to be a tenant to be access to that, because you can be part of the network here, which is the other great thing. So you get to meet other people, not just in the building, but that sense of community, really.
Exactly, the network that's associated with that. And this, of course, is a device that helps surgeons drill the hole that goes into.
Spot on, you could do it.
I doubt it somehow.
No, so around the implantable device, that obviously we send now thousands of those out. They've got to be put in the right place. They have to be put into tunnels that are drilled accurately. So one of the surgeons we worked with wanted to create a more accurate placement of the tunnel and know where the tunnel was going to come out in the knee. So in combination with him, with Jonathan Webb down in Bristol, we designed this product, and the team upstairs or down the corridor, I think, printed this and brought it out, and we put it in Jonathan's hand.
You prototyped it in plastic and then reproduced it for production in metal now.
Yeah, and so we've got another couple of meetings with Jonathan to sign off or not on the product and whether it's going to be actually useful in his hands, and having that will go a long way to him making that decision and us making that commercial decision.
So it just shows how wonderful that sort of network and the synergy that comes from related businesses being in one centre can make all the difference.
Absolutely.
The final question, how many of these are implanted worldwide?
So implanted, it's difficult to say, because because your knees are different size to mine, to anybody, everybody's knees different. You need a variety of sizes. So if we start up a hospital using these products, they may have a range of 24 different sizes on the shelf, but only a certain few will go into patient. What I can say is that we will just before year end ship our 10,000th screw.
Yeah.
So, it went from being a few hundred and being pleased that we got our first order in, to then realising actually we've got pallet loads of products coming into the office, and then on a daily basis product going out as far away as New Zealand, South Africa, Israel. So it's exciting times.
Yeah. Fascinating solution to a challenging problem that obviously makes a big difference to people's lives. It's a wonderful export story as well, as you say, going around the world, and it's all done locally, which is absolutely fantastic to hear. Thank you.
Pleasure.